My name is Muhammad Jamaludin. Okay, general function social achievable mean of communication Rosali khusus. Distinctive motivation the focus of the conversion of the focus of the conversion of the speaker. Example expressing joy so this to the edition.
Halo guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amruizal Fahli. I'm from Tangerang and I'm a student from Pamulang University, Faculty of Indonesian Literature, third semester. Okay, here I'm not alone. There are two of my friends, namely Muhammad Jamaludin and Muhammad Anwar Dani Giawa. Our group will discuss topic about language Indonesia. Okay, follow me.
Serious on the conversation on the opponent speak.
History and development of the Indonesian language. A. History of Indonesian language. Indonesian language comes from the language Malay and an Austronesian language used in the archipelago. Language often these days named by the term Melayu Pasar. High Malay is far more official than Melayu Pasar. Language development and growth Malay can be seen from several legacies following. The inscription on the tombstones in Minyak Aceh in 1380. Kedudukan Bukit Inscription in Palembang, Talang Tua Inscription in Palembang in 684, Kota Kapur Inscription in West Bangka in 686, Karangbrahi Bangko Inscription Merani Jambi in the year 688. The Malay language in Indonesia later used as a lingua franca, but not yet many use it as the mother tongue. Mother tongue still using language areas was numbers reads 360 language. In the early 20th century, the Malay language broke into two. In 1901, Indonesian under the Dutch adopted the Van spelling. While at the year 1904, Malaysia under England adopted the Wilkinson spelling. In his speech at the Second National Congress in Jakarta, Muhammad Yamin said, "If refers to the future of language in Indonesian and its literature, only two languages can be expected become the language of unity, namely Javanese and Malay. But from those two language is withering who will gradually become language of association or language of unity." Indonesian language is officially recognized as the national language at the Team Youth Plate October 28, 1928. The use of Malay as national language on the Professor Muhammad Yamin, Sanusi Pane, and other figures. Indonesian language born on October 28 in the year 1928. At the time, the youth of various corners of the archipelago gathered in a meeting the youth forward. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesian, possess to visit blood one, the homeland of Indonesia. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesia, claim to be national swan, the Indonesian nation. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesian, uphold language unity, Indonesian language. These youths posts were known by name Sumpah Pemuda. The third element of the youth plate is a statement of determination that language Indonesian is the language of national unity Indonesia. In 1928, the Indonesian language strengthened its position as language national. Constitutionally, the Indonesian language has declared as language the country on the 18th of August 1945. At that time, the Basic Law was 1945 envisaged as the state's basic law Republic of Indonesia. In the 45 Constitution said that state language is Indonesia language. Chapter 15, Article 36. Now Indonesian is used by various layers of Indonesia.
Indonesian language has developed very rapidly as the impact of advance in skills, technology, and art. Its use is increasingly widespread in various domains of use, both orally and in writing. Therefore, we need reference book that can be used as a guideline and various references Indonesian language user, especially in using written language properly and correctly. In this connection, the development and guidance against language Ministry of Education and Culture published general guidelines for Indonesian spelling. This guide was prepared to improve the general guidelines for enhanced Indonesian language spelling. RPUYD. This guideline is expected accommodate the increasingly rapid development of the Indonesian language. Hopefully, the publication of the general guidelines for Indonesian spelling will directly or indirectly speed up the process orally speaking Indonesian so as to strengthen the function of the language Indonesian as the state language. Improvements to the Indonesian spelling have been made by the Language Development and Development Agency, Ministry Education and Culture. This refinement resulted in a manuscript which in 2015 was designated as Regulation of the Ministry of Education and Culture number 50/2015 concerning general guidelines for Indonesian spelling. Judging from the history of its preparation, since the spelling rules Malay with Latin letters was established in 1901 according to the design Ch. A. Fund of Huijsen with the assistance of Engku Nawawi, Titel Sultan Mamur, and Muhammad Taib Sultan Ibrahim. Spelling improvements have been made in various names and shapes. In 1938, at the first Indonesian Language Congress in Solo, it was suggested that Indonesian spelling be more internationalist. In 1947, Suwandi, the Minister of Teaching, Education and Culture at that time, stipulated in a letter his decision that March 19, 1947, a number 264 that changed the spelling of the Indonesian language with the intention of making the spelling at least to be simpler. The new spelling by the public given the nickname the Spelling Republic. Second Indonesian Language Congress initiated by the Minister Muhammad Yamin, held in Medan in 1954. The Congress decided that there should be a body that draft practical spelling rules for Indonesian. Committee, what is meant by the Minister of Teaching and Education and Culture, with its decree that July 19, 1905 Number 441176, success in formulating new standard in 1957. In accordance with the pace of national development, the Language Institute and Literature which in 1911 become the National Language Institute. Then in 1975 it became the Development Center and Language Development, compiling a comprehensive Indonesian language standardization program. In this connection, the Committee Indonesian Spelling Ministry of Education and Culture, which was approved by the Minister of Education and Culture, Sarino Mangun Pranoto, since 1966 in his decree that 19 September 1967 and number 062 or 167 and 8 compiled a concept that was responsive to and studied by a wide range of people throughout the country during several years. After the design was finally complete in the seminar Indonesia in Puncak in 1972 and was introduced broadly by a committee established by a decree of the Minister of Education and Culture. On the day of the proclamation of independence that year, the new spelling rules were also inaugurated based on the presidential decree. Under the name Enhanced Spelling, the Ministry of Education and Culture distributed booklets and titles guidelines for the perfect spelling of Indonesian language as a benchmark for using the spelling, because the quiz needed to be complete. The Development Committee Indonesian Language, Ministry of Education and Culture, established by the Minister of Education and Culture by letter its decision that October compiled a general guideline book which contained an explanation of the spelling rules whether. In 1988, the general guidelines for spelling were improved. The second edition was published based on the decree of the Minister of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Dr. Anies Baswedan, General Guidelines Enhanced Indonesian Spelling, was replaced by the name General Guidelines for Spelling in Indonesian, whose manuscripts were completed by the Center for Development and Protection, the Agency for Language Development and Development. The preparation of this guideline was inseparable from hard work and contribution of various parties. Therefore, our appreciation and thanks go to all expert and expert language. At the ministerial level, as well as circle, people who have worked together to create a general guideline for Indonesian spelling.